Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Look, today we're going on a journey of self-discovery. And I know that sounds like a big promise, but honestly, it could genuinely reframe the rest of your career. We are going to completely unpack the hard science of motivation. We're looking directly at the biological roots of our purpose. So if you've ever felt kind of adrift in your work, or even just in your personal life, this might actually be the most absolutely crucial concept you ever encounter. We're going to explore this whole thing together, so let's get into it.
So I want to start by asking you a question. When was the last time you felt genuinely proud of your work? Now listen carefully here, because I really don't mean when were you crazy busy or just incredibly productive. Anyone can be busy. I mean, when were you deeply, authentically proud? If you're kind of struggling to remember right now, just stay with me, because by the end of this explainer, we're going to uncover the exact biological reason behind that elusive feeling, and more importantly, exactly how to get it back.
Section 1. The missing why.
Right off the bat, there is this profound disconnect in how we communicate as human beings, and it creates a universal problem. Think about it. Literally every single person on this planet can tell you what they do. If you ask a nurse, an accountant, or, a plumber what they do, they'll answer you in 2 seconds flat. And some people, if you push them just a little bit, can clearly articulate how they do it. They know their special technique or that unique edge that makes them different from the person right next door doing the exact same job. But when you ask almost anyone why they do what they do, crickets, complete silence. They totally freeze up.
And let's be super clear about what we mean here. Why doesn't mean needing a paycheck to pay the rent. Obviously, we all need that. It means, why do you actually get out of bed in the morning? Why does this specific work exist through you and not through someone else? Just let that question hang in the air for a second. It's a massive, existential question. And honestly, our inability to answer it is the root of so much modern burnout.
Section 2. The biology of belief.
Okay, the fantastic news here is that our inability to articulate our purpose is absolutely not a psychological flaw. You aren't lacking self-awareness. It's literally biology. If we split the brain into 2 simple zones, the outer layer is the neocortex. This area handles all our language, our facts, and our logic. You can think of it as your what brain. When we communicate from the outside in, starting with what we do, we're talking straight to this logical brain. Now, this completely informs people, sure, they understand what you're saying, but it completely fails to actually move them or inspire them to act.
But right in the middle sits something far older, the limbic brain. This is the part that controls trust, loyalty, gut feelings, and all human decision-making. This is your why brain. Now, the people who manage to build a life, a business, or a career that feels truly authentic, they do it completely backward compared to the rest of us. They communicate limbic to limbic. They start with their why, and people are just inexplicably drawn in, often without even knowing the rational reason why they care.
When you look at these two side by side, notice the strict divide between these zones. Up top with the neocortex, you have logic, facts, and the what. Down below with the limbic system, you have trust, decisions, and the why. It is a hard dichotomy between logic and deep feeling. The top informs us, the bottom actually drives our behavior. And here's the kicker. They operate completely independently of one another.
So, this brings us to the crucial twist. The limbic brain has absolutely zero capacity for language. None. This brilliantly illustrates exactly why you stumble when you're trying to explain why you love your partner, or why you love your work. You feel it completely, deeply, in your gut, but you biologically lack the words to express it because the part of your brain processing that feeling doesn't control speech.
Section 3. The computer company test.
Let's see how this biology actually plays out in the real world. Think about 2 computer companies selling nearly identical laptops. First, listen to pitch 1, which is your standard corporate voice. We make great computers, well-designed, easy to use, want one? It's so boring, right? It's completely forgettable because it strictly targets the neocortex. Now listen to pitch 2. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We just happen to make computers. Wow. Do you feel the difference there? That speaks directly to the limbic brain with genuine passion and conviction.
As the source material so perfectly states, one is a pitch, the other is a belief you get to join. And honestly, a belief you get to join is exactly what we are all desperately searching for in our own daily routines and careers. We don't want to just go around executing pitches every day. We want to live out our beliefs.
Section 4. Finding your fingerprint.
So, how do you find your why? This is the ultimate question we're trying to solve together today. We know the biology now, we know the huge difference it makes, but how do we actually translate that weird limbic gut feeling into actual language you can use in your real life?
Well, here is the very first rule. You cannot do this alone. And please, don't take offense to that. It's not because you aren't smart enough or introspective enough. It is simply because you are way too close to the canvas. You have absolutely no objectivity about your own life. You require an outside perspective to act as a mirror for you.
Let's walk through this incredible exercise step by step. Step 1. Call a friend. The kind of friend who would pick up at 3 a.m. with no explanation needed. Step 2. Ask them, very simply, why are we friends? Now, fair warning, they are going to freeze. They might even think you're having a midlife crisis. They'll start listing trait-based answers like, oh, well, you're funny, or you're loyal. That brings us to step 3. You have to reject those answers. Those are just dictionary definitions of a friend. They aren't specific to you. Step 4. You have to push for how you make them feel. Ask them, no, what is it about me specifically? If you keep pushing gently, eventually something shifts. They will stop describing traits and they'll start accessing that limbic brain. They might pause for a second and say something like, I don't know, I just feel like I can breathe when I'm around you. Or maybe, you make me feel like I actually matter.
And this brings us to one of the most powerful insights of this entire explainer. That sentence they just gave you, that is not a compliment. That is data. That specific emotional response from a friend is the exact metric of your core purpose. It is the literal fingerprint of your why.
Section 5. The unchanging truth.
Now, there is a massive misconception people have about their purpose changing over time. People often think, their why should naturally change with their career, their age, or their changing circumstances. Actually, it doesn't. Careers, age, and circumstances absolutely change, but the why underneath stays fixed for life. This is huge. It means if your current job is draining the life out of you, it isn't necessarily a wrong job entirely. It just might be completely misaligned with that unchanging why that you just haven't taken the time to name yet.
Look at the timeline here. By your mid to late teens, your why is already completely formed. It's the sum of your upbringing and your early life experiences. As you enter adulthood, sure, your careers and circumstances will inevitably shift and bounce around a lot, but throughout your entire lifetime, your why remains totally fixed. I really want this to reassure you today. Your purpose is already built in and permanent. You don't have to go out and invent it. You just have to excavate it.
So here is your homework, and I mean genuinely actually do this. Call one person tonight, ask them the question, and then just sit in the awkward silence. Seriously, do not jump in to fill it. Let them struggle to find the words because their limbic brain is literally fighting to speak. Just wait for the chill.
The final question I have for you is this. Will you take the time to name your why? Will you actually do the exercise tonight? Because discovering the biological truth behind what drives you is just the very beginning. If this explainer made something click for you today and you want to keep unraveling these fascinating concepts alongside me, make sure you hit subscribe. Until next time, go find your fingerprint.